God is the love in which me and you forgive. God is the strength in which we trust. There is nothing to fear. God's voice speaks to us all through the day, and me and you are sustained by the love of God. What's good, fam? We are on lesson 60 of A Course in Miracles, and today we will be reviewing lessons 46 through 50. And this is the last review lesson until we begin the normal practice periods again. So let's go ahead and begin. If you got the book, you already know what to do. And if you don't got the book yet, the PDF is in the description. Let's go ahead and begin. 46. God is the love in which I forgive. God does not forgive because he has never condemned. The blameless cannot blame, and those who have accepted their innocence see nothing to forgive. Yet forgiveness is the means by which I will recognize my innocence. It is the reflection of God's love on earth. It will bring me near enough to heaven that the love of God can reach down to me and raise me up to him. Now, before we continue, God does not need to forgive me and you. That's a very false premise that this world believes, but who is love has never condemned and is incapable of doing so. Me and you, however, need to forgive ourselves and everyone else that we believe have done us wrong in order to set ourselves free, just enough to bring us near enough to heaven, aka this state of mind that we're in right now. And then from there, the love of God can reach down to us and raise us up to him. So it is very important and crucial to understand that in the larger scheme of things, me and you are we are safe and sound, and nothing can happen to us that would cause us to be non-existent. God is not what most people believe God is. Remember, like we described yesterday, this whole world is running around like chickens with their head chopped off, being this self-image that they've made for themselves at a very young age, apart from God, meaning although they are still as God created them, they can't see that. Therefore, they're acting from a perception and a perspective that is furthest from that. It is literally a 180 turn in the direct opposite direction of where the love and light is that they are seeking. Now, from this perspective, people of this world are trying to describe God, which is insane. They are trying to describe from the ego's perspective who this loving, all light, pure positive source energy is. How can somebody who has barriers up to who they really are, to who God really is, to love and light, and it's not be able to be penetrated through their awareness because they believe in fear and worry and doubt and guilt, made an image of God. They are going to perceive the God that they made from this perspective, which is furthest from what God, me and you know to be actually is. And again, the word God, we have to mention, is something that a lot of individuals in this world have emotionally charged energy towards. So when they hear that word, they get triggered in some way, shape, or form because they are still identifying again with the ego, meaning their buttons get pushed like that when they hear words or phrases or people say things or they see somebody or someone do something in a certain way or not do something in a certain way, their buttons get pushed, meaning they have emotionally charged energy towards that situation or circumstance or event or person that causes them to have uncontrollable and irrational emotions when they experience that experience because they haven't forgiven that person and they haven't healed from that state of mind, that perception that they believe they're seeing. Therefore, their buttons are getting triggered. But this is how the insanity of the world works. they think that that person attacked them or did something to get them mad. So then they respond in fight or flight mode, or they respond in a way that they perceive. They're responding in the way that they perceive. But remember, nothing we see means anything. We have given everything we see all the meaning it has for us, including the word God. And if you have some negative connotation with the word God that has more to say about you than it does with who your father, who the creator of all that is, really is, who pure positive source energy really is. Now, again, we're using words to describe the magnificence of something that we cannot see, which is definitely going to cause some misinterpretation for someone somewhere. But as long as you know that what we are describing is truth and is an experience that we are experiencing now, what other people think about that has nothing to do with what me and you know to be, because they are only perceiving what they think they know to be from that perspective with the brown tinted shades on. So they're trying to describe a concept of this magnificence that we are experiencing that they are not allowing themselves to experience for themselves. So they have to use words of this world to describe that experience, and they are describing unknowingly God in a way that is a reflection of human traits rather than what God really is. God, let's name a few attributes of God, and then we will name a few attributes of the ego, and then we will allow you to decide what you believe God to be is. And remember, what we call God is irrelevant, because what we call truth does not change truth. Truth is changeless and eternal and unalterable. And we know that you know this already, but it's just important to be said so that way we understand how people of this world see what we're discussing right now. So that way we know how to move around those little roadblocks when trying to help somebody unlearn all the junk that they've learned, if they are willing. If someone is not willing to evolve and remember who they really are, there is no need to try to force this information upon them. Just go about your day and experience this joy that's here and you are experiencing, because trying to make someone believe what you believe is going to be something that is going to take you out of this state of mind, because this state of mind does not need to be defended. It is truth. Now, let's go ahead and continue with this little activity. God, I want you to think of some attributes you know God to be. Let's use a few that we've used on a normal basis. Love, light, all that is, eternal, infinite, omnipresent, meaning everywhere at once, all right now, including within me and you, omnipotent, creator, all of these attributes that are love related. Now, there's other attributes that people who are identifying with the ego see God as, which is judgmental. And that's one of the biggest that I hear, and I don't even pay attention to the rest. So we're just going to use that one, judgmental, or looking at us, condemning us, or seeing us as sinful, and all these other attributes that are insane, because you are only able to think this whenever you are identifying with this ego. You are not able to see anything other than what you are identifying with, meaning if you see that, you are going to be sure that that person believes that about themselves within. They have condemned themselves. They made themselves guilty. And I'm talking to me and you, because me and you make ourselves guilty. We say something mean to somebody and then we feel guilty after. Or we do something and we feel guilty. Or we look at someone a certain way and then we feel bad about the decision that we made. We know we do, but we have to forgive ourselves for those judgments that we place upon the world, because we understand that it is only whenever we are not identified with who we really are, which is who God created us to be, that we see something that is not there. And whenever we forgive everyone and everything, and we free ourselves just enough to get to the state of mind that we're experiencing, God will lift us up the rest of the way. Now, let's go ahead and continue, and then we will discuss more about this. 47. God is the strength in which I trust. It is not my own strength through which I forgive. It is through the strength of God in me, which I am remembering as I forgive. As I begin to see, I recognize his reflection on earth. I forgive all things because I feel the stirring of his strength in me. And I begin to remember the love I choose to forget, but which has not forgotten me. 48. There is nothing to fear. How safe the world will look to me when I can see it. That's so funny. How safe the world will look to me when I can see it, implying that we're not seeing it already. If you feel unsafe, you are not seeing. You are simply perceiving an image that you have placed over what God would have what you're looking at to be. How safe the world will look to me when I can see it. It will not look anything like what I imagine I see now. Everyone and everything I see will lean toward me to bless me. I will recognize in everyone my dearest friend. What could there be to fear in a world that I have forgiven and that has forgiven me? How beautiful. That's what's happening right here and now. Anyone who is fearful or thinking that they are going to be punished for something that they've done wrong in the past are definitely not experiencing this. They are seeing fear and they feel unsafe, and they will feel safe whenever they see the real world. They will feel safe whenever they forgive themselves and everyone and everything they have placed judgments upon. It will feel so freeing. And again, words will not describe that experience, but doing the internal work and repeating these thoughts and this terminology over and over and over again, I promise you that if you are not here with me already, I promise you 100% can assure you I am leading you in the direction where you want to go, because I wouldn't lead you anywhere else other than that. And if you are already here with me, then you are probably here joyfully celebrating with me, being up here, remembering this magnitude and knowledge and truth of who we really are. So let's be glad. Right now is a great moment to be alive because we are in the right moment. We are in the right space at the right time. There's nothing else that you need to be doing right now. We are here for a reason in this exact moment. And whatever we do, whenever we turn this video off and we go somewhere else in this world or do something else, we are going to be doing exactly what we need to be doing in that moment. Because at any moment in time, we take action on our path of least resistance, meaning nobody does anything that they believe is not going to make them feel better just a little bit. Regardless of what anyone does in this world or wants in this world, they do it because they believe they're going to feel better in doing it or in having it. But the thing with that is when you're identified with this self-image that you made apart from God, this ego, you do not know what's in your own best interest. Meaning you could want this thing because you think it's going to make you feel better in the having of it, or you could do this thing because you think it's going to make you feel better in the doing of it, but you do not know what's in your own best interest whenever you are identified with the ego. However, in this state of mind, aligned with God like we are right now, and being who God created us to be, and being whole and in love, we can be sure that what we do from this state of mind is going to be much more valuable. It's going to be much more beneficial because we are taking this action while being in the receptive mode and being open to clear communication from God, which has always been there. Me and you have clear communication with God 24/7, and whenever we don't, it's not that he left, it's that we did. And whenever we return to this state of mind, then that communication will continue because it has never left. There is nothing to fear. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. There is not a moment in which God's voice ceases. There's not a moment in which God's voice ceases to call on my forgiveness to save me. There is not a moment in which his voice fails to direct my thoughts, guiding my actions, and lead my feet. I am walking steadily on toward truth. There is nowhere else I can go, because God's voice is the only voice and the only guide that has been given to his Son, which is me and you. 50. I am sustained by the love of God. As I listen to God's voice, I am sustained by his love. As I open my eyes, his love lights up the world for me to see. As I forgive, his love reminds me that his Son is sinless. As I look upon the world with the vision he has given me, I remember that I am his son. Beautiful lesson. We have just completed the first review section of A Course in Miracles workbook for students. Now, tomorrow we are going to begin with lesson 61, which will be the first lesson coming back to the normal practice periods. So I look forward to that. Just know that these lessons are even more powerful, because the further we go, the more awakened we become, the more we understand this information on the deeper level. So just be prepared for that. Today we are going to practice and keep our attention focused on what we learned today in lesson 60. And whenever we return tomorrow, we will begin something very magnificent, and it will be a great time to be alive, like always. So we will conclude here, and may we never be the same. And I will catch you tomorrow for lesson 61 of A Course in Miracles.